The cold emptiness of space stretched endlessly, silent and merciless. A lone fleet of damaged ships drifted between the stars, their metal bodies scared and broken. Inside them were the Xilari, a once proud alien race now reduced to refugees, abandoned by the very galaxy they once called home. Valix, the leader of the Xilari, stood on the bridge of his dying ship, staring at the endless blackness before him. His people had sent out hundreds of distress signals, begging for help. No one answered. The Galactic Alliance had exiled them, calling them useless, weak, and unworthy of survival. No planet would grant them shelter. No civilization would offer them aid. The Xilari had no weapons, no great armies, only knowledge, culture, and a peaceful way of life. And for that, the ruthless galaxy had cast them aside. The ship's power flickered. The oxygen levels were dropping. Food was running out. Hope was fading. Then something unexpected happened. A blinking light on the control panel. A response signal. Valix's breath caught in his throat as he rushed to the console. Someone had heard them. Someone was coming. Far across the sector, a human warship, the UES Endeavor, was approaching fast. Captain Daniel Reeves stood at the helm, his sharp eyes fixed on the glowing distress signal on his screen. "Are we sure about this?" his first officer, Lieutenant Kara Hayes, asked. "Command told us to avoid interference in galactic politics." Reeves crossed his arms. "This isn't politics. It's survival. Someone out there is dying, and we're not going to ignore them." The crew prepared for approach. Scanners showed the Xilari ships were barely functional, their life support systems on the verge of collapse. The humans had seen many horrors in space: wars, invasions, betrayals. But this, a species abandoned and left to die, that was something Reeves couldn't accept. Moments later, a message came through. The face of Valix appeared on the main screen. His golden eyes, once filled with dignity, were now dim with exhaustion. "This is Valix of the Xilari. We are in need of help. Please, we have nowhere to go." His voice cracked with desperation. "You're not alone anymore," Reeves replied firmly. "We're bringing you in." The humans wasted no time. They sent shuttles to transport the Xilari aboard their ship. As the first Xilari stepped into the human vessel, they hesitated. They had only heard rumors about humans. Some feared them. Others admired their defiance against the galaxy's rulers. But right now, none of that mattered. Food, medicine, shelter. For the first time in months, the Xilari could breathe without fear. In the ship's medical bay, Dr. Lyon Carter worked tirelessly, treating malnourished Xilari. She had seen suffering before, but this was genocide through neglect. Valix sat nearby, watching everything with disbelief. "Why? Why would you help us? The Alliance will punish you for this," he said. Reeves, standing beside him, shrugged. "We don't take orders from the Alliance." Valix studied the human captain carefully. "Do you know what they will do to you for this?" Reeves nodded. "I do. But I also know this: humanity doesn't turn its back on those in need. If they want to come after us, let them try." Valix felt something stir inside him, something he had lost long ago: hope. But hope was fragile. As the Xilari found safety aboard the Endeavor, an urgent alert flashed on the main screen. An incoming transmission. Lieutenant Hayes checked the signal. Her face hardened. "It's from the Galactic Alliance." Reeves exhaled slowly. "Patch it through." A cold, inhuman voice echoed through the bridge. "Attention, human vessel. You are harboring an outlawed species. Surrender them immediately, or face consequences." Silence filled the command deck. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. They knew what this meant. Reeves clenched his fists. He had made his choice the moment he ordered the rescue. His voice was steady, defiant. "Tell them they'll have to come and take them." The tension on the UES Endeavor was thick, pressing down on every crew member. The Galactic Alliance had issued its warning: surrender the Xilari or face consequences. Captain Daniel Reeves stood tall on the bridge, his jaw clenched. He had known this rescue would bring trouble, but he didn't care. Humanity did not abandon those in need. Lieutenant Kara Hayes turned from the communication console. "Captain, the Alliance wants an answer. What should I tell them?" Reeves didn't hesitate. "Tell them we don't answer to tyrants." The crew held their breath as Hayes relayed the message. Within seconds, the cold, metallic voice of the Alliance returned. "You defy the will of the galaxy, human. This is your final warning. Return the Xilari to us or suffer the consequences." Reeves smirked. "They keep saying consequences like we're supposed to be afraid." But deep down, everyone knew the Alliance wasn't bluffing. A desperate refuge. Meanwhile, in the medical bay, Valix watched as his people were treated by human doctors. His once proud race had been reduced to starving refugees, and yet these humans, strangers to them, had risked their own safety to help. Dr. Leon Carter moved swiftly between the patients, checking vitals and administering nutrients. "You were lucky we found you in time," she said. "Another few days, and most of you wouldn't have survived." Valix lowered his gaze. "We sent signals to every major civilization. No one answered." Carter's hands tightened around her dad. "Well, humanity isn't like the rest of them." Valix studied her carefully. "The Galactic Alliance will not forgive this. They will come for us. For you." Carter's eyes flickered with determination. "Let them try." For the first time in a long while, Valix felt something he thought was lost. Hope. The call to war. Back on the bridge, sensors blared with an alert. An unidentified fleet had entered the sector. Hayes checked the readings. "Captain, we've got incoming ships. Multiple signatures. It's an Alliance scout fleet." Reeves's expression hardened. "How many?" "5 warships, heavily armed. They're not here to negotiate." The bridge crew fell silent. Humanity had made incredible advances in space travel, but they were still young compared to the massive empires in the galaxy. The Alliance had technology centuries ahead of them. And these weren't ordinary ships. They were built for war. Reeves exhaled sharply. "Raise shields. Bring weapons online. We're not backing down." The first attack. The Alliance ships didn't wait. They fired without warning. Energy blasts struck the Endeavor's shields, shaking the entire ship. "Shields at 70%. A crew member shouted. Reeves gripped the command rail. "Return fire. Target their engines." The Endeavor's railguns roared to life, sending a volley of high-velocity slugs toward the enemy fleet. Unlike the Alliance's energy weapons, human technology relied on kinetic impact. And it worked. One Alliance warship's thrusters exploded, sending it spiraling out of formation. The bridge erupted in cheers, but the battle was far from over. "They're regrouping," Hayes warned. "2 ships are flanking us." Reeves gritted his teeth. "Damn it. They're fast." The ship shook violently as another blast slammed into the hull. Sparks flew from the consoles. Shields down to 40%. Reeves knew they couldn't hold out forever. The Endeavor was a powerful ship, but it was outnumbered, outgunned. Then, an idea. "Prepare the stealth module," he ordered. Hayes's eyes widened. "Sir, that system isn't fully tested. It's our only shot. Do it." A moment later, the ship's experimental stealth field activated, bending light around the hull. The Endeavor vanished from enemy sensors. The Alliance fleet hesitated, confused. Reeves smirked. "Now let's see how they fight against something they can't see." A new ally. As the battle raged, a transmission came through, but not from the Alliance. "Captain Reeves, this is Commander Jorvac of the Trelzin Free Colonies." Reeves frowned. "Trelzin? They're neutral." "Not anymore," Jorvac said. "We've seen what you did for the Xilari. We have also suffered under the Alliance's rule. If you're willing to fight, you won't fight alone." Reeves exchanged a glance with Hayes. The galaxy was watching, and some of them were ready to stand with humanity. The Endeavour drifted silently in the void, hidden by its experimental stealth system. The Galactic Alliance fleet scanned the area, searching for the human ship that had suddenly disappeared from their sensors. Captain Daniel Reeves stood on the bridge, watching the tactical display. The Alliance warships moved in formation, their weapons ready to fire the moment they detected any sign of movement. Lieutenant Kara Hayes whispered, "They don't know where we are, but they won't leave. They'll wait us out." Reeves exhaled slowly. "Then we don't give them time. We make the first move." A risky strategy. Meanwhile, in the medical bay, Valix sat beside a wounded Silari child. The girl's breathing was shallow, her thin body still weak from malnutrition. Dr. Lyon Carter adjusted an oxygen mask on the child's face. "She's stable for now, but if we don't get to a safe place, she won't survive long." Valix clenched his fists. "You saved us, but now you're in danger because of us." Carter met his gaze firmly. Humanity doesn't abandon those in need, no matter the cost. Valix studied her. He had heard the stories, how humans were different from other species. Now he saw it with his own eyes. But the Alliance wouldn't stop until they were destroyed. The Trolzens' offer. On the bridge, a secure transmission came through from Commander Jorvac of the Trolzen Free Colonies. "You're in a bad spot, Captain," Jorvac said. His reptilian face flickered on the holoscreen. Reeves smirked. "I've had worse." Jorvac chuckled. "Maybe. But even your ship can't win this fight alone. We're sending reinforcements, a cruiser and 2 frigates. But you'll need to hold out until they arrive." Hayes frowned. "How long?" 15 minutes. Reeves glanced at the tactical display. They didn't have 15 minutes. He made a decision. "We're going to hit them first." Hayes' eyes widened. "Sir, if we drop stealth, they'll fire immediately." "Exactly," Reeves said. "We use their arrogance against them. They think we're running. Let's show them they're wrong." Breaking the silence, the Endeavour suddenly appeared on enemy scanners. The Alliance warships reacted instantly, their weapons locking on. "Missile locks detected," Hayes shouted. Reeves didn't flinch. "Fire all forward railguns. Target their command ship." The Endeavour's weapons roared to life. A storm of kinetic slugs tore through the void, striking the lead Alliance cruiser. The ship's shields flickered, struggling against the brutal impact. Then, a direct hit to the bridge. The Alliance cruiser erupted in flames, debris scattering into space. The enemy fleet hesitated, stunned. Humanity had just taken out a superior warship in seconds. Reeves didn't waste time. Evasive maneuvers. Prepare to fire again. But the Alliance wasn't done. The remaining ships opened fire, sending energy blasts toward the Endeavour. The ship shook violently, alarms blaring as the shields dropped to dangerous levels. "Shields at 15%. A crew member shouted. Hayes turned to Reeves. "Sir, we won't survive another hit." Reeves clenched his jaw. "Just a little longer." Reinforcements arrive. Then, a new set of signals appeared on the radar. "The Trolzen ships are here," Hayes shouted. 3 warships burst into real space, their weapons blazing. The Alliance fleet was caught off guard. Jorvac's voice came through the comms. "Thought you could use some help, Captain." Reeves grinned. Perfect timing. The battle turned chaotic. The Trolzen warships flanked the enemy, firing precise shots that crippled 2 more Alliance vessels. Realizing they were outmatched, the remaining ships turned to retreat. Hayes scanned the sensors. "They're pulling back." Reeves exhaled, feeling the tension finally ease. "Let them go. They'll think twice before underestimating us again." The aftermath. As the Alliance fleet disappeared into hyperspace, relief spread through the crew. But Reeves knew this wasn't over. The Alliance wouldn't forget what happened today. Jorvac's transmission returned. "You just made a powerful enemy, Captain, but you also made powerful friends. We're not the only ones tired of the Alliance's rule." Valix, who had entered the bridge, stepped forward. "The Xilari will never forget what you've done." Reeves met his gaze. "Then let's make sure it wasn't for nothing." A war was coming, and humanity would be ready. The battle was over, but the tension remained. The Endeavor floated in the vast darkness of space, surrounded by the wreckage of fallen ships. Sparks flickered from the damaged hull, and alarms still rang throughout the ship. Captain Daniel Reeves stood on the bridge, watching the tactical display. The Galactic Alliance had retreated, but this was only the beginning. They would return, stronger, angrier. Lieutenant Kara Hayes checked the ship's status. "Shields are down to 20%. Hull integrity is compromised. We need repairs." Reeves sighed. "How long until we can jump to hyperspace?" Hayes frowned. "At least 2 hours. Engineering is working on stabilizing the core." Reeves clenched his fists. 2 hours was too long. If the Alliance sent reinforcements, they would be sitting ducks. A tense meeting. The Trelzan ships hovered nearby, their sleek forms reflecting the dim light of the stars. A transmission request blinked on the screen. "It's Commander Jorvac," Hayes said. Reeves nodded. "Put him through." The screen flickered, revealing Jorvac's reptilian face. His yellow eyes studied Reeves carefully. "You fight well, Captain. Not many would dare take on the Alliance." Reeves smirked. "We don't scare easy." Jorvac chuckled. "That's why I like humans. But bravery alone won't win this war. You need allies." Reeves narrowed his eyes. "Are you offering one?" Jorvac leaned closer. "Yes, but it comes with a cost. The hidden rebel network." Jorvac explained the situation. The Galactic Alliance was not as united as it appeared. Many species were unhappy with their rule, but they were too afraid to resist. "There's a secret resistance growing in the shadows," Jorvac said. "If we unite, we can strike back." Reeves listened carefully. This could be their chance, not just to survive, but to change the balance of power in the galaxy. "What do you need from us?" Reeves asked. Jorvac's expression darkened. "A meeting. There's a hidden station on the edge of the Scorvex Nebula. Leaders from different rebel factions are gathering there. They need to see what humanity is capable of." Hayes looked uncertain. "Sounds like a trap." Jorvac nodded. "It might be, but it's also our best chance to fight back before the Alliance crushes us all." Reeves made his decision. "We'll go." Repair and recovery. In the medical bay, Dr. Lyon Carter worked tirelessly, treating the wounded Xilari refugees. Valix stood beside her, watching as she bandaged a young Xilari boy's arm. "You don't have to do this," Valix said quietly. Carter smiled. "Yes, I do. That's what humans do. We help each other." Valix lowered his gaze. He had never seen compassion like this before. The Alliance had always taught him that humanity was dangerous, selfish. But the truth was different. "You saved my people," Valix said. "I will not forget this." Carter patted his shoulder. "Then let's make sure they have a future worth remembering." A risky journey. With temporary repairs complete, the Endeavor prepared to leave. Hayes looked at Reeves. "We have no idea what's waiting for us in the Scorvex Nebula." Reeves smirked. "That's what makes it fun." As the ship jumped into hyperspace, the crew knew one thing: there was no turning back. The real fight was only beginning. The Endeavor shot through hyperspace, its engines humming steadily. The crew remained tense, knowing that their next destination could lead them into a trap or a revolution. Captain Daniel Reeves stood on the bridge, his gaze fixed on the star map. The Scorvex Nebula was a dangerous place, filled with ion storms and pirate hideouts, a perfect location for a secret meeting or an ambush. Lieutenant Kara Hayes checked the sensors. No signs of enemy ships, but the nebula's radiation is messing with our scanners. Reeves nodded. "Stay alert. If this goes wrong, we need to be ready to fight our way out." Arrival at the hidden station. As the ship exited hyperspace, The nebulous swirling clouds surrounded them in eerie red and purple hues. Deep within the mist, a small space station came into view, an old, rusted structure barely holding together. A transmission came through. "Unidentified vessel, state your business." Jorvac leaned forward. "This is Commander Jorvac of the Trelzan Resistance. We bring allies." There was silence, then the reply came. "Proceed to Dock 3. No sudden moves." Reeves sighed. "Friendly welcome." Hayes smirked. "Better than being shot at." The meeting of rebels. The docking bay was dimly lit, filled with old cargo crates and heavily armed guards. Several alien species stood waiting, their eyes filled with suspicion. A tall, insectoid creature stepped forward. "Jorvac, you brought humans." Jorvac nodded. "They saved my people. If we want to defeat the Galactic Alliance, we need them." Murmurs spread through the crowd. Some nodded in agreement, others looked doubtful. A reptilian alien growled. "Humans are unpredictable. How do we know they won't betray us?" Reeves stepped forward, his voice firm. "Because we have the same enemy. You've seen what the Alliance does. They crush anyone who refuses to obey. But humanity doesn't needle. We fight, and we don't stop until we win." A small, elderly alien with glowing blue eyes studied Reeves carefully. "Brave words, Captain. But we need action, not speeches." Reeves smirked. "Then tell us how we can help." A dangerous proposal. The elder alien, known as Counselor Verax, pointed to a holographic map. "The Alliance is preparing a massive attack. Their fleet is gathering near the Draken system. If they launch, the resistance is finished." Hayes frowned. "We don't have enough ships to fight them head-on." Jorvac grinned. "We don't need to. We just need to stop them from launching." Verax nodded. "There's an orbital command station controlling the fleet. If we destroy it, their forces will be in chaos." Reeves folded his arms. "That's suicide. It's heavily guarded." Jorvac's eyes gleamed. "Not if we have inside help." Everyone turned as Valix stepped forward. The exiliary prince had remained quiet until now, but his voice was strong. "I once served the Alliance. I know their security codes. I can get us inside." The room fell silent. The rebels stared at him with mixed expressions, hope and suspicion. A feline-like alien hissed, "Why should we trust you?" Valix met his gaze. "Because I have seen the truth. The Alliance doesn't protect us. It controls us. I won't stand by while my people suffer." Reeves looked at him, then at the others. "We have a plan, but we need to act fast." A race against time. Back on the Endeavor, the crew prepared for battle. Weapons were checked. Armor was secured. The mission was set. Dr. Lyon Carter approached Valix. "You don't have to do this." Valix shook his head. "Yes, I do. If humanity was willing to risk everything for my people, then I must do the same." Carter smiled. "Then let's make sure you survive this." The journey begins. The fleet moved out, a small force against an empire. As the Endeavor jumped into hyperspace, Reeves took a deep breath. This was it. The battle for the future had begun. The Endeavor glided through hyperspace, surrounded by a small fleet of rebel ships. Their destination, the Draken system, where the Galactic Alliance's main command station controlled a massive fleet ready to crush the resistance. Captain Daniel Reeves stood on the bridge, arms crossed, watching the swirling blue of hyperspace through the viewport. "We're outnumbered," Lieutenant Kara Hayes muttered beside him. "Even if we destroy the command station, their fleet could still wipe us out." "We don't have a choice," Reeves said. "We hit them fast, take out the station, and hope the chaos gives us time to escape." Jorvac, the Trelzan commander, nodded. "My people are ready. But what about yours?" Reeves turned, looking at his crew, engineers, pilots, soldiers, and scientists, all prepared to risk everything for a cause that wasn't even their own. "They're ready," he said firmly. "A dangerous plan. In the strategy room, the leaders gathered around a holographic map of the Draken system. The command station floated above a gas giant, surrounded by 4 heavily armed defense satellites and dozens of warships. Valix, the Xilari prince who had once served the Alliance, pointed to a small docking bay. "This is where we enter. I still have my security codes. They'll work for a short time before they realize we're inside." Jorvak's mandibles twitched, and once we're in, "We overload the station's reactor," Valix said. "Without it, their fleet loses coordination." Hayes sighed. "That means a lot of fighting inside." Reeves smirked. "It's what we do best." Approaching the station, the fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the system. Immediately, alarms blared as enemy ships detected them. Enemy warships moving in. A pilot called over comms. Reeves gripped the chair. "Hold formation. Fighters, cover our bombers." Explosions lit up the darkness as laser fire tore through space. The Endeavor weaved through enemy lines, dodging missiles and plasma bolts. Jorvak's forces engaged in desperate dogfights, distracting the Alliance long enough for the infiltration team to get through. Valix worked quickly, sending old security codes to the station. "Come on. Accept them." The screen flashed green. Access granted. Reeves wasted no time. "Go, go, go." The shuttle raced toward the docking bay, slipping past defenses just as the codes expired. The mission had begun. Inside enemy territory, the doors hissed open, revealing a long metal corridor. Armed soldiers patrolled the halls, unaware of the intruders, until it was too late. Jorvak and Hayes moved fast, neutralizing guards with precise shots. Alarms blared as the station realized they were under attack. Valix led the way. "The reactor is below us. We need to get to the maintenance level." They sprinted through the corridors, fighting off enemy troops. Explosions rocked the station as outside. The battle raged on. The reactor core. The team reached a massive chamber, where the station's reactor pulsed with energy. Valix ran to the control panel. "I can overload it, but we have to be fast." Reeves and Hayes held off enemy reinforcements, their weapons blazing. Jorvak threw a grenade, blasting a group of soldiers. "Hurry up, Valix." Valix's fingers flew across the console. Just a few more seconds. A loud siren filled the room. The station's AI had detected the sabotage. Security doors locked down, trapping them inside. Hayes cursed. "Now what?" Valix's eyes widened. "I can finish the overload, but someone has to manually open the doors from the control room." Reeves turned to Jorvak. "Can your people do it?" Jorvak's mandibles clicked. "They're busy outside. Someone inside has to do it." Valix stepped forward. "I'll stay." Hayes grabbed his arm. "No, you won't make it out in time." Valix's gaze was calm. "This is my fight too. If I don't do this, everything we worked for is lost." Reeves clenched his jaw. "Are you sure?" Valix nodded. "Get out of here. Win this war." Reeves hesitated, then saluted him. "You're a good man, Valix." Jorvak gave him a warrior's nod. "Your people will remember you." Valix smiled. "Then let's make sure I give them something worth remembering." Escape and destruction. The doors hissed open. Reeves, Jorvak, and Hayes ran for the exit, leaving Valix behind. They barely made it to the shuttle when the station began to shake violently. Reeves shouted over comms, "The reactor is going critical. All ships, pull back." The fleet broke away, leaving the doomed station behind. As they reached a safe distance, the station exploded in a massive fireball, taking dozens of enemy ships with it. Silence filled the bridge. Hayes closed her eyes. "Valix." Reeves placed a hand on her shoulder. "He gave us a chance. Let's not waste it." Jorvak looked at the battlefield, where the remaining enemy ships scattered in confusion. "This isn't over. The Alliance will strike back." Reeves exhaled. "Then we'll be ready." The war wasn't won, but for the first time, they had hope. The destruction of the Galactic Alliance's command station had changed everything. Their once mighty fleet was now scattered, confused, and disorganized. It was the perfect moment to strike. On the bridge of the Endeavour, Captain Daniel Reeves stared at the battlefield ahead. Enemy ships still outnumbered them, but now they lacked coordination. The Resistance had a chance, but only if they moved fast. Lieutenant Kara Hayes checked the tactical display. Alliance forces are regrouping. If we don't hit them now, they'll reorganize and crush us. Jorvac, the Trellzan warrior, flexed his claws. Then we attack before they can recover. Reeves nodded. All ships, form up. This is it. Either we end the war today, or we die trying. The final battle begins. The Resistance fleet surged forward, engines burning bright. The remaining enemy forces turned to meet them, their commanders struggling to issue orders without the main control center. Enemy battleships charging weapons. A pilot called. Reeves gripped his chair. Hold the line. Fighters, break formation and engage. The battlefield erupted into chaos. Explosions lit up space as fighters weaved through heavy fire, dodging plasma bolts and missiles. Jorvac's ships, smaller but faster, darted between enemy cruisers, hitting weak points with surgical strikes. Inside the Endeavour, engineers worked desperately to keep the ship together as it took heavy damage. Shields at 40%, Hayes reported. Reeves clenched his jaw. We just need to last a little longer. A desperate gamble. Despite the Resistance's efforts, the Alliance fleet still had one last trump card. The Dreadnought, a massive warship armed with devastating weapons. As it loomed over the battlefield, its main cannon began charging. Hayes' eyes widened. That thing could wipe out half our fleet. Jorvac hissed. We must destroy it before it fires. Reeves knew they had no time. We're taking the Endeavour in close. We hit that cannon with everything we have. The Endeavour turned toward the Dreadnought, dodging enemy fire as it charged forward at full speed. All power to forward weapons. Reeves shouted. Missiles and plasma rounds hammered the Dreadnought's hull, but the cannon kept charging. Not enough damage, Hayes yelled. Reeves gritted his teeth. Then we get even closer. The Endeavour rushed straight toward the Dreadnought, dodging fire by mere meters. Jorvac's forces followed, launching one final attack. Missiles, torpedoes, and concentrated laser blasts hitting the same weak point. The Dreadnought shuddered, its hull cracking. And then, boom! A chain reaction tore through the ship. The main cannon exploded just seconds before firing. The shockwave rippled across the battlefield, sending enemy ships spinning. For a moment, there was silence. Then the remaining Alliance ships began retreating. Reeves exhaled. We did it. The war is over. With the Alliance fleet broken, the Resistance forces pushed forward. One by one, entire star systems rebelled against the Alliance's rule. Planets that had suffered under their control rose up in defiance. News spread across the galaxy. The Alliance had fallen. On the bridge of the Endeavour, Reeves watched the stars. Jorvac stood beside him. Your people fought well today. Reeves smiled. So did yours. Hayes sighed. I still can't believe it's over. It's not over, Reeves said. Now we have to rebuild. Jorvac nodded. The galaxy will never forget what humanity did today. A new beginning. The Trellzan refugees, once hunted and shunned, now had a home among the stars. Humanity, once seen as weak newcomers, had proven their strength, not through conquest, but by fighting for what was right. As the Endeavour sailed toward the next chapter of history, one thing was clear. Humanity was here to stay.